Hey there, and welcome to the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. Here we chat with modern day mystics, occultists, witches, and warlocks in an effort to find the secrets laying beyond this mortal realm. Follow us on social media at Greyhorn Pagans or Greyhorn Podcasts. Visit our website www.greyhornpagans.com. Make sure to subscribe to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/GreyhornPagans for bonus content, a look behind the scenes, and much, much more. Like, share, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. Thank you so much for joining us once again on this lovely, Dutch spring evening, which means that it's wet and cold outside because, of course, I am here again with the Chaotic Creator. We started on some karma stuff last time. I don't believe the full episode is out yet, although at time of recording, it is airing live on Patreon. So if you do want early access and if you do want, early karma, perhaps, do subscribe to patreon.com/GreyhornPagans. Of course, not just for early access to the podcast, also our Greyhorn Pagans book club, bonus content, and much, much more to come. I just need to get my my work schedule in order because I don't know what those people at planning are doing. But yeah, that's always a thing. Anyway, before we go any further, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and do hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I go live. I go live on Saturdays with Zerolath for rune readings and high-minded discussions, or for whenever a new episode of the Greyhorn Pagans podcast goes live for the public, of course, because also on YouTube you can get early access. Just subscribe to the Warrior Aristocrat tier and you'll get early access to all podcasts. Just, subscribe to Patreon, subscribe as a channel member. It's good karma. Or is it? Which is something that we're going to go into right now. So, Mr. Chaotic Creator, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me once again. So let's do a bit of a recap. Where did we? Because I've been working a lot, been recording a lot. Where did we leave off last time?
So the beginning of it all is just to kind of give the basis of what karma could actually be, and then followed up by numerous stories of great karma in ways that are unexplainable any other way. If you call it luck, that's fine. You can call it luck, but it's been 20 years. I may have said maybe about 7 things, but it's been 20 years of those 7 things daily. Like, just yesterday, I was driving and there was a cop bike behind me that I didn't know was a cop bike. It got close, and it still didn't look like a cop bike. And this dude was driving slow, and I just went around the truck, gave the bike enough room if he wanted to split the cars, and I was definitely speeding. And at some point in time, I slowed down. I went to more legitimate speed, and I'm just sitting there and the bike goes past and he's just cruising along. And I'm like, oh my God, it is a cop. And I ain't even wearing my seatbelt. They'll go pull over. That happened like 3 times in the last day and a half. Like today, I was on my phone and I was kind of going into the other lane, and there was a cop facing the other side of the traffic, but like in the middle, like more touching this side of the road. And I just acted like I was going, on my phone onto the next lane, and I don't know, maybe wasn't paying attention or something, but like it, just reckless as hell, if you want to call it that. But like, what are you gonna do? Give me a ticket for what? I'm not doing anything wrong.
Which we do not recommend doing. By the
No,
way, just
no.
because he got away
Be
with it doesn't mean you
responsible.
get away with it.
Be responsible.
Very much so. But do you believe that is due to, as the, I guess,
Well,
more mainstream would say, good karma, that, they are not paying attention, or that they are distracted, or just like not feeling like giving you a ticket? Is there even such
I'm
thing as good or bad karma?
yeah, there's good and bad effects from actions that occur, cause and effect. A cause creates an effect. It could be a negative or a positive effect, sure, sure. But like, I don't wear my seatbelt ever. Like, I will randomly get a thought in my head pop up. My thought says seatbelt or whatever. I'll put that bitch on because, like, I don't know. It popped in my head, and my body or some other mind inside it said it or something. You know what I mean? And I'll put it on. I could be like 10 minutes away from home and not wearing it for the last 4 hours. You know what I mean? And I'll put it on. Just roll with the instinctive thought. But let's go to the whole not wearing a seatbelt. I don't wear a seatbelt, not because it's this or not because it's that, but I don't know how many people know that a dinger in your car that tells you to put your seatbelt on, the seatbelt laws, all these things were not for your safety. These were for insurance companies lobbying for these things to be laws and have these things in the cars because their insurance payouts are more because you got more injured in that wreck because you weren't wearing your seatbelt. So now you weren't wearing your seatbelt as a law. Now I don't have to pay you. Well, this had nothing to do with a righteous action. Therefore, since their actions of why they brought it to be, me not wearing my seatbelt is my way of saying, go fuck yourself. Yeah, it has nothing, it's merely you cannot control me because of your money financial situation standing. Now, had that law been created inherently for the good of people, it might not have been the same. You're just rebelling to be an asshole. But I'm trying to make a point here, kind of thing. And I've got pulled over 6 times in 2 months. And I got pulled over with no insurance, no seatbelts on, and not a single cop asked me for my insurance. Not a single cop asked me for my seatbelt because my car is in a state of chaos. Like it's hard to even wrap. You got to be present and understanding in an environment that is clean. You can think, you can see, you know what I mean. If you walk up, is this somebody I don't want to fucking deal with? My windshield's cracked, my seatbelt's not on, and they can't see it because there's so much going on. It's like you go in your house, how are you supposed to find anything if it's dirty? How are they supposed to see anything if it's chaos incarnate? Like nobody wants to deal with that. I got pulled over one time with everything right in sight that would put me in jail and a little bit of a big problem even. And the cop walks up to the window and I have my ticket that I got the last time. Oh, you guys already got me. You know what I mean? And that just, we were talking. Oh, okay, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then he looks down at the floorboard and he sees something as he's walking away. And he's like, fuck it. And just keeps walking. And he acknowledged what it was, but he never put more thought into what it was. Had he maybe thought about what it was, he would have thought further, realized that maybe there's, and the whole, yeah. Anyways, like the stories before, there was nothing different to the story now. Just, I'm not doing anything wrong. Hell, because I got behind a truck to get off on my exit, and I got behind the truck too early. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you." As soon as I get off on the exit, I just pull over. I got bad tags. I know you're gonna pull me over. I ain't gonna worry about it. What? But yeah, I'm stopping. I'm not doing anything wrong. Like I don't even know why you're bugging me. Yeah, because I didn't pay the government of California money. Blah 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 blah. I, okay, well, is your physical address the same as your address on your ID? No, my address is here, as in the city I'm in. Like I'm on an off ramp. My address is here, and he didn't ask for more details. That was the end of that. Oh my god. So it's not necessarily about what you do, it's why you do. If it was about what you did, not why you did it, then I don't think anybody would make it. That intention would be nothing, and there would be no premise of learning experiences. You know, if you don't learn why you do what you do, how you do it. Eh, like you said in the beginning, not everybody don't we're not recommending that they go without their seatbelt on. You know, it works for me, but there's a reason why it works for me. But it might not work that way for somebody else. You have to move with reason. You have to move with intention. And that's going to dictate the actions that occur. You know what I mean? I can't count the amount of synchronicities that continuously occur when you're moving with the same intention as another person. You know, and timing is always the same. It's damn near cookie cutter. Like the other day when you were talking about spring, I swear to God, it was around the exact same time I went to go do something and I was writing something out with that. You know, same mentality, same. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. It could be two different time zones, but it's still happening at the same time. The sun's not in the same place, sure, but what's happening for you right now is happening for me right now. It's the same time. We exist right now together. It's the same time. You know, it might not be the same environment, but that's not the premise of it. The premise is a vibrational force, vibration, frequency. You know what I mean? That has nothing to do with the environment.
I mean, time is, of course, a very much a man made construct. I mean, yeah, time does exist in the sense that, day will turn into night, the full moon will turn into the new moon eventually. The cycles of nature we can perceive as time. Absolutely. But yeah, other than that, like everything just it happens at the same moment, past, present, future. It's all now. And I believe we kind of got into that on the previous episode as well. Um and you were talking about, like good and bad, which is all like there is no absolute good. There is no absolute bad.
We can start with that one.
And I think that's also, a large part of the conversation about karma. Like so many people, seeing something what they perceive to be bad happening and saying like, oh, karma is going to get you. And it's like, well, aren't you, like if that is like something you believe, like, bad things happen to bad people, which they don't, not always at least. By saying that, by believing that, doesn't that make you a bad person? In that line of thought, at least. It's like, oh, karma is gonna get you because you did something bad. Well, now you're wishing bad onto someone, which in turn, like, sort of makes you bad. So
I
wouldn't
mean, you
that
do
mean
have
that
the
karma
intention.
is gonna get you too?
Yeah, well, yeah. I do believe that some people aren't allowed to deal out their own karma, but that's why some people built differently in the world is they're here to deal out karma, not their karma, but your karma that needs to be given. You know, you can't corrupt your mentality, your being, to deliver the karma that's deserved, quote unquote. So the function of it happens because there's still people that do things like rob people, you know? Maybe now you're gonna get robbed, and the guy that's robbing you isn't the guy that you robbed, but if the guy that you robbed you, now you're subjectifying your own morality to negative actions impacting your being. Maybe it doesn't matter because you can still sleep at night. Maybe that's a big factor. If you're gonna do something, can you live with yourself for it? Can you sleep? Can you go to sleep at night? You know what I mean? Maybe that's a factor because it does definitely skip out and stop working.
So in that way, how would you tie karma to, destiny, let's say? Because there's always the classic, like, oh, he or she is asking for it. It's always with the terrible topics, rape, for example. And no, I'm not going to censor it and call it grape. Just uh, you know I hate
Yep, yep.
censorship, especially internet censorship, self censorship, especially if it's not necessary. You'll hear that so often. You know, he or she was, probably asking for it by the way they're behaving, by the way that they are dressing, whatever. And in a way, not the rape part, of course, but for example, God, who was that? That Little Uzi Vert, that rapper, for example, he had a huge fucking pink diamond literally implanted in his forehead, I believe, where his third eye was supposed to be or something, which is very telling. Someone eventually literally ran up to him and snatched that thing right out of his head. Literally.
Yeah.
By doing that, by implanting a multi-million-dollar pink diamond into your forehead, aren't you kind of asking, aren't you tempting fate? Aren't you tempting karma? Aren't
Oh,
you
that's
tempting destiny to
right.
send someone your way and snatch that thing right out of your head? Because it's basically a challenge. It's flaunting. It's a challenge.
It's the difference between I wish a
Like, hey, look at
motherfucker
me. I
would and
can
if
do
a
this.
it's also the difference between I wish a motherfucker would and if a motherfucker does. Being prepared for something is
So
a
where
lot different than
where do you draw the line?
well, you're allowed to defend yourself. You're allowed to stand for your own morality. So if a motherfucker does, I'm prepared. I wish a motherfucker would is it sounds like you're out looking for problems, bro. You're trying to find the problems. You want that. That's not a good thing. You're gonna
Exactly.
find a
That's
motherfucker that
what I
will.
mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I said. But how would you tie that into karma or fate or however you want to call it? Because
Yeah.
you're doing that stuff to flaunt, but aren't you kind of calling the bad karma over yourself?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, because I actually have I have a topic that it covers it perfectly. It's karma manifesting inside of your inside of your being and who you are. Manifesting anything, it
Okay.
takes more than words. It takes actions, more actions than words. In fact, words are used to cast spells, but actions are what break spells. You don't manifest what you want; you manifest what you are. Karma is the same. When you are the guy who wants $1 million house, you lack the understanding of what it takes to have it. The person with the $1 million house got it because they had the ability, took the action, made it a reality. Your thoughts matter. The order of your words matter. I saw it, I wanted it. I saw it and I had to have it. I saw it and I thought, how can I get it? I saw it and I figured out how to earn it. All these sentences, the same thing said differently, but they reveal the person's intentions and their mental processes. Everything matters. You want to manifest being a good person with good karma? You must be that. The depth of what you are is the depth of what you reflect. So let's say you're in a new relationship. Most are on their absolute best behavior, even when they never act that way. What would you call that? I call it acting within pure intention. If it's so that things don't work out, they're justified by saying it's not their fault. It's self manipulation. If you want to lie to yourself, why would you expect others to share their truths? People can't even handle their own truths, and you're expect to handle or and you expect to you expect them to handle your truth even when it's true. A good person is true and authentic no matter what. People say they don't want games, yet every time they meet someone new, they put on a mask and alter their behavior. When someone cares how they are viewed by another, it's because they don't like who they are. The issue is they don't view themselves the way their behavior suggests and can't look inside long enough to enact real change because pain is to be avoided. They just want acceptance from others in order to justify not having to be better. Fundamentally, a game is following the rules that the game creator makes, aka society. Try to win, watch for moments that can be used to your advantage. All just to say you're better than another. This is literally the almost every relationship I've ever been exposed to. And the reason is simple. You take care of me and I take care of you. It's like playing a game that depends on a player understanding their chosen personality and then switching places partway through. Karma manifesting solely depends on your mental state. And when you don't know who you are or act like something you're not, what do you expect? Apparently, others expect their own self-hate, or accept their own self-hate as self-love because no, they could be better, but refuse to do what is required. You can't make others happy. You can't know what's going on in their head, and you can't understand their past if you've never lived it. So instead, it's demanding others to accept what you refuse to work on so you feel good about yourself. A great example of this statement is statement many use and everyone has heard. Happy wife, happy life. Shortly after, they'll begin to talk about how she's never happy no matter what. And who knows why? Let's look at this. Did you just admit she'll never be happy? And if she isn't happy, your life isn't either? Talk about manifesting a shit show.
Yeah, very true indeed.
So
If
you
you
can lie to people, but can't lie to you. You can't lie to yourself. You can try.
no, definitely not.
You know what I mean?
And
So that's the
I
difference
like what you say
between
about that.
me not wearing a seatbelt, and somebody else not wearing a seatbelt. Is that's why I don't wear a seatbelt. You're gonna act like that's why. You want to be something, you
I
have to
like
be it. You want something, you have to be
Yeah.
it.
No, I mean, you have to embody it. I mean, it's the I'd say it's the purest form of fake it till you make it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which I mean,
And
it's
it's been proven. It's been, in like very simple ways. If you're feeling down about yourself, if you're feeling down on your luck, if you're kind of depressed, like literally it sounds so simple, and I know it's so hard. I've dealt with it. Smile. You know why? Because if you smile, you're tricking yourself, you're tricking your brain into believing that you're happy.
even if it's a
And
fake smile, eventually it'll
because
become sincere.
exactly, exactly, because you're tricking yourself into believing that you are.
That
So
actually
therefore, you're gonna align with it,
and
and
that
and
opens up
that's also
perfect.
something I've talked about that so many times before. Like that is the law of attraction. That is manifestation. You're not pulling something out of thin air. You're aligning yourself with it. Like you said about the $1 million house. You're not pulling $1 million house out of fucking thin air. You're aligning yourself on the path that leads to that $1 million house.
Like being a billionaire. You just got to be a piece of shit. It's all good.
I mean, yeah,
Good. A
clearly,
billion is a lot of
you
money,
know,
man.
you gotta do some awful things, and
That's what I'm
you can
saying.
be filthy fucking rich. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
quite
It's a
literally.
$1 billion, man. So this actually ties right into that response to that. So the unsettling truth about karma. Now I want to open up with this and ask you one question. If someone tells you you're a liar, if someone tells you that they are a liar and a cheat, and you date them, whose fault is it when they lie or cheat?
Hmm.
Eh, well, I
I
told
mean, if they
you.
tell you up front,
Well, of course
if
it's
they tell
both.
you up front they're a liar and a cheat, and then they go on to lie and cheat, I mean, they told you what they are. You shouldn't be surprised about it.
No, no, you definitely should not. Where the hell? Um,
I mean, you shouldn't be surprised about it, and you shouldn't get mad about it.
no, no, not at all.
You know. But I mean, I can spin that in a different direction too. If they tell you that they are a liar and a cheat, or especially a liar, how do you know that's not a lie?
Oh my
That's
goodness.
what I've heard with actors, for example. When do actors stop acting? Like, who are they really? Or are they always portraying a character? Jim Carrey is a classic example of that.
Mhm.
He, especially, in his later years, he has said that, everything's been a role that I've played. Even Jim Carrey, it's a character that I play. Like, who is Jim Carrey? I don't know. It's a character. I'm playing Jim Carrey right now.
Mm. All right. So obviously it's both people's fault, but let's take a second and realize karma's function hits both people. You didn't love yourself. They told you. You didn't care. You saw the truth. You looked the other way. You found ways to justify it. And that's why karma will teach you lessons continuously until you have learned the lesson that's being taught. The scary part is I've heard no more logical answers by the powers that be who tell you what they're going to do before they do it, get away with what they do. Because guess what? Your karma's worse than theirs. You're lying to yourself. You're manipulating yourself while they're telling you the truth of what they're doing. Who's living righteously? Who's living unrighteously? I'll tell you, you're living more unrighteously than they are, because at least they're being honest, and that's a fucking unsettling truth. And for the ones that want to dig into this incredible topic, we can have a whole podcast on that topic alone, because that is some shit right there. So let's move over to,
We can do that.
and we're
We
gonna
can do
have to
that
have,
for our next time for sure.
we can definitely do that one. That was
And
nice.
I,
All
I,
right.
I like what you're saying. I mean, you'll often hear that with, that is what the parasitic elite is doing, the revelation of the methods, negating their karma, basically telling you like, hey, we're gonna do this. So it's up
Well,
to you to stop
if
us.
they negate the karma, then that means that it's not a force, it's a function, because it can be worked with. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It has a rule. It has a laid out rule of functionality on how it can and cannot work. If it was a force,
It
if it
can be
was
worked with.
Zeus, right? So is it karma or is it
It can
luck?
be worked around even.
Yes. Yes. I got one on that one too. I like that one too. That one's the fun one. That's the butterfly effect one. So what, karma or luck? Some cultures incorporate luck as a part of karma's definition. Luck is understood an uncontrollable force. You have it or you don't. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. If that's the case, you might as well just throw the fucking cause effect right out the window. Every action does have a reaction. Therefore, something had to happen for that lucky moment to occur. Everything is function in the system that we exist in operates by fundamental principles. Luck is simply given to a word given to a beneficial chain of events in which we don't understand. To fully know what chain of events occurred, to know that, to have that result would be impossible. But you know what it is possible to understand? That you have a vibration, you have frequency, they have real time effects, and you're in control of that. Now, cymatics, because energy
Oh,
and frequency
yes.
affects water, and you are water. You are water, really part water.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. But now, you can't control others, but you can control yourself. There's a saying: bad things happen to good people. I disagree. Bad things would happen to me if I was not a good person. No, I embody luck. Embody it. Anytime you think you do one thing one time that I do daily, you're in trouble. I'm not. Can I explain that to you? I try to move righteously. I try to try to be fair. I don't give myself an extra. I looked into your cup to see how much you had. Or no, I looked into your cup to see how much you had left. You looked into my cup to see how much I had, to see if I had more than you. I wanted to make sure that we had the same, but you wanted to make sure that I didn't have more than you. That's a totally different fundamental basis of good people versus living righteously and being unrighteous. You're so worried about your own self that others cannot be taken into account. Okay, so bad things happen to good people. I disagree. Good people strive to be better. And in order to grow, you have to experience. Experiences are lessons, and hard lessons very much come to good people. And I'm the proof that bad shit doesn't happen to good people. I've experienced I've experienced some very difficult lessons, but by the end, I've been thankful for every single one. Learning from experiences instead of blaming the world is 100% righteousness given from you back to yourself. Furthermore, when it comes to people that you think are good, you have absolutely no idea what thoughts they think or who they really are when no one is watching. Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
When you apologize, who are you apologizing? Yeah, I'm apologizing to myself. I apologize to others at the same time. If I was just doing it to them, that would be for their benefit, then I'm doing nothing wrong because I just don't care about my actions. Therefore, I'm not really sorry. We actually went through all of them. You can, even if I
Yeah,
thought I
we
was
did.
wrong, or even if I thought I was right and I was wrong, you can convince me that I am wrong. I am not like some immovable force. Like, no, this is what happened. This is da da da, and this is where you fuck. Oh, my bad. I didn't see your point of view. We're all human. Nobody's perfect. But karma isn't about what happens to you, okay? Because if karma was about what happens to you, then it'd all be about you. And it's not about you, it's about everyone. So it's what karma does for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not this
So
bad thing happened to
let me
me.
ask
No,
you.
my action created a bad effect, and that's what karma did for me to teach me a lesson.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So let me ask you a question about those, good people and always striving for improvement.
I know one of those.
Isn't that the most negative mindset there is? Like they're never good enough?
I cannot go give that man $1 to make myself feel better. Don't work that way. That's not good karma. I gave that man $1 because he needed it, and I cared about him. You can't do things to make yourself feel better. Oh, I'm a good person now. No, you did it so you feel better. You didn't do it because it was the right thing to do. You didn't do it because you saw him and you cared and you felt that pain that he feels and they feel, and you want to help them through that like you felt. You can't feel for somebody what you've never felt. That's why you cannot become a sword until you've gone into a kiln and got beat with a fucking hammer and sharpened with a stone.
Yeah.
Eh, Fire
It's
makes
like those influencers who, it's like those influencers who film themselves giving like $100 to the homeless. It's like you don't care about the homeless. You care about how you're perceived. That's why you do it. That's why you put it on film. If you really cared about it, you wouldn't be filming it. And definitely not putting it out on the internet for everyone to see.
what I will
Because
say.
you wouldn't care about that. Because it's not about that. It's not about optics. It shouldn't be about optics.
You're 100% correct, but here's a little tidbit that is about fake it till you make it kind of thing that you said earlier, because that does actually incorporate into that exact statement because they're faking their care. Maybe they'll eventually make it because
Oh.
those who ask shall receive. You want strength? You'll be given situations that'll make you stronger. Your behavior through those
And
situations you asked for reflects your karma.
and could that then also be that because all of your fans, all of your subscribers, everyone who has viewed that video and believes that you are doing the right thing, because they believe that you are a good person, because they perceive you as a good person. I
I
mean,
I don't do what they
I
know that I
guess
do not.
no, but technically speaking, that would make you a good person, not because like you are, but because you are
I'm not doing
to
it for
them.
them.
They
Nope.
already see you as a good
Right,
person.
because I'm not doing it
Or,
for them.
at least the person, at least, the image of the person that they have in their mind, which I guess would not
It's
be you, but someone else entirely.
it's just that they know I care. That's all it is because if I did what I did for them, they don't know anything. They don't understand what I do. They don't understand it. They can't understand it. They don't do it. So they have to have the faith in me that I have the understanding that when I say what I'm doing, I'm actually doing that. Because if they didn't have
So
the
knowledge
faith that I was actually being sincere, then it wouldn't matter.
around. Does fake it till you make it also apply to perception? As I was trying to explain, if everyone thinks you're a good person, doesn't that kind of automatically make you a good person? Does that automatically turn you into a good person? Or does that just go for the person that they perceive you to be, which might not be you at all? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Send me a message on Instagram at Greyhorn Pagans. What you think about that? The opposition of the two. To which I actually have a question. Can you have faith with knowledge, or does knowledge juxtapose faith in every way?
No, you have to have faith in the knowledge that you're seeking, not faith in the fact that you have the knowledge, because you might not. But if you're looking and you have the faith that you're looking for the knowledge, that you'll find it, then you'll meet somebody like Gray who'll tell you the actual facts of the matter. You can have an opinion until it's fact, and if you deny the fact, that's no longer righteous. You can live in your own fallacies, you
Well,
can live in your own delusions.
that's what I was trying to explain with, how the audience might perceive you, seeing you do a good thing. They believe that, you are this good person because you are doing this. They may not know that you're just doing it for views and clicks and money and whatever. That $100
No,
made itself back easy.
no,
But
no.
because they
So, the
believe
ones
that
that are
you're
supposed
doing
to
it for
know.
all the right reasons, because they believe that you're doing it for the homeless, that you are truly feeding the
Yeah,
homeless.
you
Doesn't that
definitely
make
got
you
content out there.
doesn't that make you a good person just because you are in their mind? Or is the person that they have created of you, the version that they have created of you, would that be a good person?
Well,
And
I
if so,
mean,
how
if
does
they could
that differ
manifest your
from?
world, can they manifest your world? No. They can
No,
believe
but
all
they
they
can
want.
they can fantasize about, what it's like. They can fantasize about cause and effect.
Right, but that's
They can create a world for themselves in which you are living and doing these things. I mean, it's
that
kind
doesn't
of,
change my
you
mind.
kind of stray into the territory of parasocial relationships in that way. Those people believe wholeheartedly that they have some sort of relationship with you, because in their minds, in their worlds, they do. They have created for themselves a reality in which they have a relationship with you. It may not be real for you, but it's real to them. So does that make it real,
That
or does that still make it fake?
that makes their karma different and your karma worse because you're manipulating them into allowing them to believe what you're setting up. So I don't care what people think about me. I don't care if you want to follow me. I don't care if you want to do this. I don't care if you want to that. I don't do any of this for you. I'm here doing what I do for me and I'm sharing it with you. If you want to
Yeah,
follow
okay,
in the
but
things that I say,
these people believe that you do. And you can't, I mean, as you said, you can't make them believe something else.
well,
So it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what you do. They believe that it is true. For them, it is reality. It is their karma, if you will.
no. Yeah, yes, and no.
And is it
Because the rose can't be blue if it's red. I don't care. It cannot be blue. All you go
w-
back to the whole take care of me, I take
but
care of
isn't
you kind of.
isn't like, blue and red, isn't that just arbitrary? What we all agree that, blue is blue. What if it's red to me? What if I say, no, that's not blue, that's red?
Okay, what
Because
about
I believe it's red.
flattened sphere? Flattened sphere. You believe that it's and you're gonna no 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 when we all know that we just don't know. That's the truth of it. We don't know. And you're gonna sit there and you're going to continuously lie to yourself about something you do not know, and you inherently know you don't know because you've never sucking fucking seen the whole thing.
But then still, if we're going into that, there are so many people who have this mental disconnect that even if they're presented with actual physical evidence to the contrary, they still refuse to believe it and hang on to their old ideas. Even though they
They can't
have,
face
in fact,
because they're not
been
facing themselves
proven wrong.
because they can't accept that they're by proving them wrong, you're not proving the situation right. You're proving their thought about themselves inaccurate, and that's what they're defending. They're defending themselves. They're not defending what their idea is. They put a lot of time into believing this and put a lot of time and effort into trying to figure this out, and that's what you're attacking. And because they do not give a fuck about being a better person and being more and trying to continue to strive for something else in life. They're happy and content where they are. That's not righteous. Righteousness is doing. Oh, I have it. Oh, no. Righteousness comes at a cost and it's painful. You cannot live righteously if you're not sacrificing. I want to give that man $1 and I feel bad for him. I'm going to give him my last dollar. You gave him $1 when you had 100. Who gave more? I gave him my last dollar. I gave him everything I had. You can sit there and think you're a
If
good person,
if we're talking about basic value, we both gave the same, but I'd say that you have given him more.
but we're not talking about physical now. We're talking about something spiritual. Karma is not physical. Karma is intention, action, and what it comes back. That's not something tangible that you can hold. Once an action happens, it no longer exists. The past isn't real. The past isn't here. Like the past is already gone. You can sit there and dwell in the past. You can sit there and fantasize about the past. That doesn't make it more real. So yes, we gave the same monetary value, but the value of your soul is
Mm.
where karma comes from. Like I mean, the seatbelt needs to go fuck itself. Inherently, cut the fucking thing out. I don't care. You would never cut it out because it's a law. Even though you don't wear it and you're fighting the rules. You're not gonna cut it out. You're gonna let it sit there and you're gonna let it manifest inside of your body. You want to manifest being a good person, you have to be it.
Anyway, like I just saw Tim Timney in the chat because apparently the first reading of 2026 is the shit that I do with Zeralath. So I was like, wait, how are you fucking seeing this? Like, you shouldn't be seeing this because I.
But they're supposed to. We're supposed to be viewing it live. Want to know why? Because
But this is so
inherently,
weird
I always
because
wanted to do this live. Did I
I mean,
magically go press buttons on your computer? Or did I magically have an effect on you where you set it up wrong inadvertently? Who's in control of your body right there? You have multiple minds.
mm,
When I was the worst drug addict I wanted to be, wow. When I was the worst drug addict I was, like the worst part of everything that I was, my mental did not want
mm,
that. My mental brain didn't want me to go do what I was doing. My body did, though. Regardless of what I tried to stop my body from doing, my body did it anyway. You have more than one mind. You cannot give the responsibility to one. Okay? If you're not going to communicate with your body, you're not going to communicate with your soul, you're not going to communicate with your spirit, you can never accept the reality. And the reality is you got a problem. And your reality needs to be the fact that without you, you can't fix the problem. AA is the worst, or NA is the worst thing. Once an addict, always an addict. Hi, I am an addict. That's what we should say to ourselves every fucking day. I am an addict. How are you ever going to not be one? Once an addict, always an addict. It's like happy wife, happy life. You're instilling your own manifestation to be horrible. You're not an addict for what? You're an addict for 2 years of your life. Now you're permanently a fucking addict for the rest of your life. What kind of bullshit is
no, that's
that? Like people
bullshit.
can't change.
Yeah. No, that's absolute bullshit. And I can speak on that from firsthand experiences. I've had trouble with smoking weed. I didn't use it, or at a certain point stopped using it recreationally, and it became a escape for me. I was at a very very bad point in my life, and I didn't want to face reality. So you know, very easy. It's the Netherlands. We got coffee shops everywhere. And yeah, I can say I was addicted to it. I was addicted to the escape. I was addicted to the feeling of numbness that it gave me instead of being constantly overwhelmed. Absolutely. But that's been years.
Are you
It's
addicted
been
to
years
weed?
since I that. So
Are
does
you
that
still
still
addicted?
make me an addict even though I'm not doing it anymore? I don't have any
Do you wake up
any
every day needing
desire.
weed and having to
No,
fight the urge to have it? Nope.
no.
You have successfully done it because you didn't sit there and say you're an addict every fucking day. I am not your label that you give me. We talked about that in the video before. I am not the label. I am me. I am not an addict. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I am me. And people need to be them. And stop trying to follow one or the other. That's how you know it's a fucking psyop, is when they present two things. Because there's never two things. There's a third. It's called don't get involved. There's called a fourth thing even. It's called do something about it.
Yeah.
Cool, you're not involved. Cool, you don't want to do nothing. Cool, you don't want to subscribe. Cool. Why don't you have enough balls to fucking go out there and do something about it? But nobody wants to be the third person, and ain't nobody gonna be the fourth person. That's why Biden was president. But there is another concept to the whole to karma or luck. When you are lied to constantly, is it righteous to take that on somebody who hasn't given you the reason to? If I lie to you every fucking day, do you just assume everybody now is a liar? Why are you gonna punish your wife because I lie? I'm a liar. Okay. So one bad apple ruins the whole batch. One person takes allowed actions too far and now no one can do it. Don't punish one, punish everyone. If you did that in your life, so many doors automatically closed. This isn't righteous. Blaming someone for actions of others is completely unrighteous. Sure, it's safe, but it's only going to prevent you from learning how to see things before they unfold. How can karma function when you close the door on his face? If it was luck instead, then it wouldn't matter. Therefore, righteous and unrighteous would be empty fucking words and no purposeful application would apply. How can more be found in life if something dictating it is uncontrollable? How can you find more to life if luck, someone's luck is going to fuck you over? Because something has to happen for the luck. The cause and effect still exists if luck does. So how can it be more? How how can free will exist when others' luck affects your existence? That when more is discovered, you realize that you have the control. It is your choice. It is you. It has always, will always, and forever will be you.
So
This
is there
isn't
such a
luck.
thing as, so by that definition, is there such a thing as free will? Or is it
Okay.
all, is it
All right, all right, all right.
cause and effect?
I would keep going. I love this stuff. All right, so that's all the way at the end. All right. So what is karma? Karma is a functionality that brings the existence of free will. Karma doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Pain is growth and problems make you stronger. So you say life is unfair. That way you don't have to accept the power is yours. Free will, willpower, the power to freely will your destiny. Destiny for everyone exists singularly. It is not your fate. It is not your destiny. It is the fate of the one who chooses it to be. It's your choice whether you're a part of the fated destiny of everything. Karma is why that choice can occur. Righteous action is your will to free your soul from karma's effect when you have earned the choice. Even if you're supposed to be Jesus, that doesn't mean it's a guarantee. You pay to become more, and the price is karma helping you succeed. It's your choice to live free or live controlled. Take action. You will have the universe to protect you. For if you bring God into your heart, all is forgiven. This is purely you accepting that the things that need to be made up for are to be made up for and that you have work to do. This isn't about being erased or forgotten because you will never forget. When someone says it's not that simple, they are thinking simple means easy. Simple can very much be tedious. Karma happens for you, not to you. You are in control of your reality. Learning is hard. The price is expensive when you're walking the easy road. If you don't want to learn, the price of walking that easy road is expensive. Okay? You choose your
Mm-hmm.
everything. Find a reason to have a purpose and remember that a commitment beats skill and talent every time. You
Yeah.
have free will.
Okay.
If you didn't have free will, karma couldn't exist.
Without the free will
Is
to do something,
then there wouldn't be
there
karma
would be no
because
effect. There would be no
it's
yeah,
written. It's written. You don't get karma because it's already written. Karma means that you have no control. Lack of karma means you have no control. You want to live in life like you have no control and things just happen to happen because they happen. Good luck with that, man. I know somebody like that. And I bet you his life ain't living really great right now. And I know because when I took when I took my walkings aways, my brain amplified by 50 fucking times. I became so much smarter because I chose to be. Because things happen for a
mhm,
reason. Okay? If I was supposed to be there, a squirrel wouldn't have burrowed into my fucking generator so when I turned it on 8 hours later, wouldn't set on fire. Generator set on fire twice with an 8 hour gap in between it. Ain't nobody gonna happen to this. When you go somewhere and you're in an environment and things are breaking around you, you shouldn't fucking be there. You are
yeah.
breaking, things are breaking because you are breaking. If I can look at something and the pulley to the generator blows off that's welded on, come on.
That is definitely something telling you that you shouldn't be there or that you shouldn't be doing what you were doing.
How many more signs do you need that you shouldn't be there? The impossible is occurring and it's occurring in destruction. But yeah, stay there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
just
then
keep going. So
how about and this may be a very basic pagan thing to do, throw the Christians under the bus, but why the fuck not? How about the people who have completely, utterly surrendered themselves to someone else, something else, call it God,
then your
even though
mind gets
God is
eaten.
Odin, which is something that I went in with Brady from Apocalypse's Hysteria. I'll
Yep,
put the
of course
card
it's
in
gonna do that.
later, of
That's
course.
that's that's
There he goes again. Anyway, if there are people watching this, and it's so fucking weird that this is live on YouTube because I'm looking at
awesome.
the live stream option and it only says that we are live on Riverside, not on YouTube. So I don't know what he's done, how he's done, but for some reason we are live. So I guess if you're watching, make sure to like and subscribe and share and all that. I hope the audio is somewhat decent. It's kind of choppy and electronic sounding on my end from Mr. Chaotic Creator. A definitely interesting discussion though, and if you don't know what we're talking about, our first episode will air soon on YouTube. Has aired, I believe. Let me double check if it actually has. No, that's just a podcast. It should have aired live on Patreon, patreon.com/Pagans. There he
So
is,
the question
back
that
again.
it stopped at, or where it stopped, was for those people that completely surrender themselves to loyalty and embody loyalty. How does that work?
Yeah,
Right?
the
What are you
the
saying?
people who have completely surrendered themselves to something else, someone else. Their actions depend on the supposed signs that they are getting. Would you say that like, are they not controlled, or are they believing that they are controlled, therefore kind of controlling
Nope.
themselves?
In this particular action, you believe that the things you're learning are supposed to be your gateway to more, and you give up your brain for that. You never get to the gate when you don't think for yourself. I know. My brain was lacking severely in the environment, even to the point where when I left the environment, it was still lacking. When I freed myself from the environment, my brain was no longer lacking. You have to think for yourself.
I
You're
mean,
supposed
yeah,
to
think for
learn.
yourself, follow your own path. I mean, that's it's
No, no, no,
easier
no.
said
You're
than
supposed to
done.
learn. You have to learn. if you're not there learning, if you're there being and trusting that the pathway laid out is end all be all, you stop thinking, you stop making your own choice, you stop being you, you become a label, and that label is them. And they become smarter, they become stronger because they're eating you. The succubus.
Okay, then let me pose another question. I think this is, this is an interesting one. The classic, what would Jesus do? Because supposedly he was a holy man. He never did anything wrong, always acted with love, and supposedly, for the most basic fucking Christians who have never even opened the Bible in their fucking life, those people are living their life according to be good to everyone, love everyone,
Mhm,
always make
mhm.
the right decision, but always in someone else's favor, never in your favor, because you have to be some kind of martyr. You have to suffer to be able to enter the kingdom of heaven. And, always downplay your own actions and always hype up everyone else. But because they are acting out of supposed, you know, love, and always keep holiness, if you will, in the back of their head, in the back of their mind. You could say they do have a hole in their head, but um, wouldn't that be, like, very basically put, good karma? Because they are believing that they are acting like the holiest of holy would, because the
Let
Christ
me ask you.
would.
Well, let me ask you something. If that was the case, and purely, then when the pendulum that manifests inside of the existence of love swings, the swing to the left is equal to the swing to the right. What are the two things it's swinging to? So temperature would be hot and cold. Love is self-love and unconditional love. So if you were truly giving unconditional love, then that pendulum would go back to the same self-love in the same amount. So if it was truly unconditional, you would truly be loving yourself, hence fair. 50-50. I don't do better for you, and I don't let me take advantage of you. I don't give you more than I give myself, and I do not let you take more than I have. It's fair. If we don't live benefiting, if we're not taking the time to make sure that both parties are coming out equal, then you spent the time figuring out how you could do better. What's righteous? I took the time to
I
care
mean,
about you and make sure I made sure that we had the same amount of water in the cup. You made sure that I didn't have more than you.
true. I guess it's also kind of, um, with what's happening in Iran. Like that's now been dubbed a holy war. We gotta bomb the Middle East to bring Jesus Christ back. That's because that's the it's a very Semitic belief that, only by doing the most heinous fucking crimes you're forcing his hand to return.
Yeah, and he's gonna return as a person. And like the movies depict, a human takes out the gods. How about this? When the Jedi became many, that's when the greatest Sith lords were born. Not when this guy was born, but when Odin's time was, when the evil powers became great, Odin was born. It's not Jesus is coming back. Once the cycle's the same every time. There's going to be another Jesus. The second coming, there's going to be another Jesus. It's not going to be the same fucking being. It's going to be the balance of the yin and yang. When the evil becomes too many, that's when the greatest Jedis were born. When the imbalance occurs, there's going to be a fix. When the gods take over, that means there's going to be a man to come and kill them all. There's movies about this.
Okay, but
Countless movies that.
So you're saying, these people are doing evil things, and yes, they are, but they believe wholeheartedly. At least that's how they're portraying it. We, of course, again, as we spoke about, we
Mhm.
don't know what they're actually thinking. We don't know how they're acting, what they're saying behind closed doors or behind closed minds, if you will. But at least they portray it like they wholeheartedly believe that they are doing the right thing. So if they're doing the right thing, then he has no reason to return because no bad things are happening because they don't believe that they're doing bad things.
Yeah.
And that's also what I got at earlier in the
Okay.
in
Hold on. I don't care if I'm liked. I don't care if I'm liked. I don't care if I'm accepted. Okay, if you're doing something wrong, I will tell you because I care and love about you enough that I do not allow you to live in your own delusion. It's a delusion. Belief is the enemy of knowing. You can't know what you believe and you can't believe what you know. If you believe it, then it ain't true until you know it. So if you think believing is enough, live in your own delusion. That's okay. That's when Jesus comes back to show you that you're delusional by proving it to you. That he died for your sins. That's why he died. He died because y'all fuckers were delusional. And he was showing you that you were delusional. And instead you accepted it as he died for my sins. Now I can continue to be delusional. There's a girl on TikTok who went around and asked like 37 churches for formula. 33 said no. There's a guy who did the same thing with the same story. Went up to 7 dope boys on the corner and asked 7 dope boys if they would give this lady formula for her kid. 7 out of 7 said yes. Where was Jesus? Was Jesus in the churches? No. 33 said go fuck yourself. Or was he on the streets with the people that actually love and care? Will your father let you live in your delusions or will he smack you a bung ahead? Will your friends let you live in your delusions? How much do they really care? They live in their own delusions. They're happy that you have your own delusions. That means that you'll be accepting of their delusions. And I'm not delusional in the fact that karma is real or not real. I know karma is real. I know it's not luck. That is not a delusion. Just like it is a delusion to believe that nothing happens for a reason.
Oh, everything
It's
happens for a
bullshit.
reason.
I know, but
Everything
some
happens
people
for a
choose to
reason.
live in their own.
Otherwise it wouldn't be happening. There is no such thing
I
as pointlessness. There is no such thing, if things are pointless, they wouldn't be happening. And if they wouldn't be happening, they wouldn't be pointless. Just like just like there has just wow. Just like death is not the absolute end. Because if it would be the absolute end, it would be fucking useless. And if it'd be fucking useless, then it wouldn't be happening. It can't be.
So when I hear these things and I decide to not have a response to them because I'm so taken back by the words I heard, that was the moment I realized that the care was gone because I no longer cared to convince anybody otherwise. That is when the loyalty breaks. When you wake up from your own delusions to realize that the people around you aren't worth the time of explaining to them where their delusions are, that is where the loyalty breaks. Because you realize that there's nothing you can do to change a human because you don't understand archetypes. And if you understood archetypes and how they blend together, then maybe you would understand that changing yourself is so hard. How can you change somebody that is an archetype that you are not? You haven't
Yeah.
experienced or lived their life. It's okay to try to show, but when you stop having the energy to explain or show or pick up the phone and only operate through a text message, If you can't talk to somebody on a phone and you can only talk to them in a text message, it's because it's a manipulation. You can't control their actions, and since you can't control their actions, you put it in a time frame in a fucking place where they have to hear you,
D-
even if they choose not to, because it's harder to. It's hard.
Sorry, bro. The connection is absolutely horrible. I got nothing of that. Ugh, there we go. He dropped again. I was figuring that would happen. Ugh. But yeah, he's right. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. As we've talked about, before
We're
during
gonna
this
have to pick this up
during this
again
episode.
at another time because I'm in the middle of Sacramento and I have one 4G bar. But hey, we made it to the moon in the city,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
we
sure
lost the
we've been going
technology,
for
so
at
we
least an
can't do it
hour.
again.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny
But yeah, I
you
mean,
tell people
as I
what's going
was,
on, and you tell
but
people
yeah,
what's going on, and you're
as
like,
I
"Hey,
said,
this is what I'm doing, blah blah blah. I need to da 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 da," and then you get there, and it's like, "Oh shit, okay,
no,
well,
you're right
you
about
can."
not being able to change people. Like that's
I,
pretty much, unless it is through sheer force, but then it's forced upon them. Then it's not. Then they don't believe it. They
you're
believe it
not
because
being,
out of fear of.
and that
It's
makes
not
it
genuine.
unrighteous
It's
because
still
you're
not
like, what?
genuine.
Why can't they have to learn? They have to have the ability to learn. No, it's my way or the highway. No, I said this, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's the difference between having a wife and having a spiritual wife. You cannot
Mm.
allow somebody to learn the spirituality of life if you can't allow them to get mad and be gone for a month. You can't have that in a relationship. You can't behave that way in a relationship. And that's why you can't spiritually go together. Because you're going to say something that impacts their fucking being and their soul, and they're going to hate you for it for a month.
I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Nope. But you can give it the time to drink. Give it the time to find it. That's where the love is. I do not
Mm-hmm.
despise you. I do not even blame you. I don't even have an ill feeling towards the situation that you hung up on me and I haven't heard from you in a month because you're mad at me. I don't care that you're mad at me. Have you learned something? Have you understood it? If you want to change somebody, they're going to have to bleed out their old them. If you never allow them to bleed, then how do you change them? And then how can they change? You're not changing them. You're just not fighting with them because they're bleeding. It's okay to bleed. It's okay that they're bleeding. It's okay that you're farther along than them. As long as you're loving enough and understanding enough of them to allow them to come around. Because people always do. They always come around. I wish a motherfucker would come around. But, you know, we don't get what we want.
Mm-hmm. Unless we align ourselves to it.
And you
Unless we
just
align
align yourself
ourselves
to
on the path to getting what we want, and then still you gotta
right,
do the work.
but that ain't gonna even fucking help them. You still gotta give them the time to bleed. And guess what?
That's
Maybe
true.
you were the lifeline they never knew they needed. All because you
Mm.
just didn't talk to them for a month and you let them bleed out their fucking pain. Who lets people bleed nowadays? No, talk to me. You have to talk to me. It's all about you, ain't it? Fuck what they're going through.
It's
That's
funny.
care. That's
I
love.
just no. I just talked about this with my wife yesterday. Actually, when I was at work, had some time to kill because of course it's a night shift. Fucking nothing happens, and like yeah, I can honestly say I have become a better person because of her, for her as well, because she made me see, or she helped me see certain things of myself that were not
I
okay.
can made you see, and she wasn't gonna be
And
accepting of the
I'm not
fact
gonna
that you
say
weren't gonna
that.
grow.
Oh, she
What women
did.
do.
She
Yeah, I know.
absolutely
That's what I'm
did,
saying.
and that is
She wouldn't accept you
and
not
that's
being. She wouldn't
because
accept your delusion. She made you face your delusion.
No, because she saw in me that I. God, there. There we go again. Well, she saw in me that I could be better. She saw the person that
Fuck
I,
this, man.
like deep down that I am. She just had to make me see it as well. That's the only difference, because I wasn't seeing it.
That's all good.
If you love this discussion, if you if you like what we're going into, do make sure to check out part 1 as well. It is already live on Patreon, patreon.com/Pagans.
Yeah, we're still not
Will
even
air
done,
live
man. We still
on
got a lot.
YouTube soon-ish as well. Let me check when actually. 4th of April.
You say the 4th of
Initial
April?
conversation will air live on YouTube, or if you subscribe to our Warrior Roast. Why did I have to give it such a difficult name? Warrior Aristocrat, either on YouTube or Spotify. You can get early access to watch the full conversation. On Patreon, that is the full unedited conversation, just the audio cleaned up a little bit. It is raw and uncut, just how you like it, you dirty bastards. On YouTube, it is, of course, the cleaned up version. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Support us on Patreon. Go to our website, www.greyhornpagans.com, to find out everything that we do with the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans and all the other groups and tribes that we aligned ourselves with. Also, on our website, you'll find the link to our merchandise store, so you can get yourself a awesome piece of merchandise as well. That would help us out greatly. Follow us on Instagram at Greyhorn Pagans. Join our Telegram. I never plug our Telegram. t.me/Greyhorn Pagans. Fucking join us. It's a good crowd. Small group, good crowd. So yeah, I think that's about all. I just gotta text Chaotic real quick. We'll text him on Instagram. Anyway, thank you for the Chaotic creator for joining me once again. And yeah, have a good day, good evening, good night, whatever it may be to you. Until next time, until the next podcast, be good, be well. Bye, guys. See ya. This was yet another amazing episode of the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. We thank you all for watching. We thank you all for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will be notified whenever we upload something new. Support us on Patreon for early access and for everything else that we do with the tribe, for everything else that we do with the podcast. Find us on www.greyhornpagans.com. For now, we thank you.